I'm Leanne Branham, and I'm glad that you joined us today. Today we're going to talk about creating more interactive video learning with EdPuzzle. That's just one of many tech options that are out there right now that we've been learning right and left in the last few weeks while we've been in distance learning. I know in the last 2 weeks, I took a deep dive and tried to learn about 100 things. This is one of the things I learned in the last 2 weeks. So that's kind of a testimony to how simple it is to start using this technology and how much support there is for it. So today, what's really going to be helpful is to have the agenda, because on the agenda I have all these links that you can actually go and explore. So if you want to take a minute and go to this link, it's bit.ly//EdPuzzle agenda. You can see the capitalization there at the top, and you can pull this agenda up so that you can click the links.
And I just popped it into the chat also.
Oh, you're fabulous. That makes it a lot easier. And then we'll also attach this when Sherry sends out the videos, so that if you're watching this later and you got this in an email, this agenda will be attached there as well. Okay, so while people are pulling that up, I'm just going to share a little bit what our outcomes are that we're trying for today. I'm going to let you experience an EdPuzzle lesson from the student perspective. We're going to learn how to use a previously made video and customize it for your classroom. And then we're going to see how student responses and data are reported back to you. Before we started this session, I heard a couple of you talking about questions about recording your own, and so we'll touch on the videoing just a tiny bit. But our focus is EdPuzzle today, so the first thing we're going to do is see what EdPuzzle does for you. And so I want you to try that here. So this link, let's see if I can add it to the chat for you. Maybe, maybe not.
I can go ahead and add it.
Can you do it? Yeah, the chat has moved a little bit with me sharing the screen, and I'm having a hard time getting there. There you go. And I just want to let you play through that a little bit so you can see what that looks like. I'll pull that over. When you get to that screen, you're going to... I'm just having a little trouble here. I need to stop sharing for a second. My screen is having trouble. There we go. Sorry, my computer was a little freaked out. So when you get to the student copy, you should see something like this. And it's still jammed up. Let's try again.
Yeah, Leanne, that link, that EdPuzzle play, it tells us that we need to sign in or we don't have access to it.
Oh, really? Okay. Let me see. There we go. Let me just play it then for you. So this is what a student would experience. It's only 1 minute long. They might not be watching Despicable Me on it. So, but the whole idea is to be able to make this a little bit more engaging. When a student comes in, they can see how many tasks they have. In this case, they have 4 things on their to-do list that they're going to have to answer to be done. And so as we play,
hey.
When it gets to one of these little spots, there'll be a question pop up. So this says, how many steps did it take to get to Gru? And I was not watching carefully for that, so I'm going to choose to rewatch. And so that's how a student would do that.
Hey.
I think it was 6. I know he didn't fly. I don't know if you noticed this, but the answers changed order from the first time to the second time, and the answers scramble. So if you had students sitting at inside a classroom there, it wouldn't be the first answer for everyone necessarily. And so then you go on, you can submit your answer. When you do submit your answer, it'll tell you if you got it right or not. That's really nice when it's a multiple choice. And now we'll continue.
I'm applying for a new
Now, if I'm a student that's impatient, I could skip to the next question the way that I have it set up. But if I didn't know that answer, then I might want to choose to rewatch. Or the way I have it currently set up, I could skip. And so they'll go through 4 separate questions that they can answer. And I'm not going to play all of it. It's on the agenda, and I'll fix that link. Apparently, that link is not good right now. I think it wants you to make an account, but I'll double check. So anyway, that's how that looks for a student when they are participating. The if I'd set it up just a little bit differently, I could have set it up so there was no skipping. That's a possibility. And if I'd done that, this is how the experience would be different. If I was a student that said, hey, I don't want to listen to this video, I want to just skip to this question, it tells me it's locked, and it forces me to watch the whole video before. I can't just skip through. And then notice the choice of skip, the question is gone. And so that's a choice as you build the interaction with your students, whether you want to let them be able to skip onto questions and try to answer them, rewatch as they need, or whether you want to remove that temptation to be able to skip. And so that's just goes to how you set up the video when you first set up your lesson. So that's kind of what EdPuzzle does. It takes a normal video and it turns into a more interactive situation for a student. When we're sending stuff away for students to watch, especially at an older level where you might be sending a whole lesson where you're just talking at them, it's really hard for students to stay engaged. And so these little questions give points where you can check for their understanding, and they can also check for their understanding. Oh, wait, I don't think I know that. I better watch again. So that's a really great use for EdPuzzle. So an EdPuzzle actually has, what can we do with EdPuzzle? First, before I show it to you on the website, just anytime we start talking ed tech, I like to bring this back up. We don't do tech just because we like shiny new toys. At least I don't. I'm always about teaching kids. And so if we're going to add tech to our classroom, it needs to do something. It needs to improve the task or allow us to do things that we wouldn't be able to do before. And in this case, with distance learning, this dramatically improves the task. Being able to make the video experience a little bit more like the conversation we would have in class, including the question and answers and checks for understanding, allows us to plan next steps. If I was going to have a student watch a video and then I was going to plan a Zoom class meeting for later, then I would be able to see what students had said about the video during their watching, and that would be a launch for our conversation. That could happen when we're back in classroom as well. We could have students experience something separately, and then we could bring that experience to the floor for the classroom conversation. So this does add value, add new features that aren't just there when we normally record a lesson. Okay, let's go back to our agenda. So I want to show you a little bit about what you can do with EdPuzzle. I'm going to go to the EdPuzzle website, and I have signed into EdPuzzle. And when you make your account, you say what kind of teacher you are. I'm a math teacher, so right up here it's showing me different videos on EdPuzzle that are trending in math. These are EdPuzzle problems that videos that other teachers have made, and I can see this one is a 3-minute video that somebody's taken from Khan Academy, and they've added 17 questions or notes to that video. And this one is a very long video that they got from somewhere, and they added 6 questions. And so I can see that's what that little dot is there. It tells me how many questions or interaction points there are in the video for students. Okay. So you can, when you are going to create video, you can choose one of your own that you made, or you can choose to pull them from previously made EdPuzzle videos, YouTube videos, Khan Academy, any video that you would like. So one of my most common reasons to make a video before distance learning was I was really, really sick and I needed to make sub plans and I wanted to record something for the substitute to play to my students. my best recording did not happen when I was really, really sick. So the idea of being able to work from EdPuzzle to take a video that already existed and edit that and make it fit my situation really is a time saver for me. So if I wanted to do that, let me just go to, besides seeing everybody else's content, I have my particular content here, things that I have worked on and saved before. So that no skipping copy was right there. I'm going to show you this one. It's just a sample that I'll use to mess with. When I open one of my videos, or when I upload a video, I can choose to assign it just as it is, edit it, which allows me to add those questions and make cuts, duplicate it. So maybe if it's one I made for a previous class and now I want to change it for the next year, I can duplicate it, or after I've worked on one and I haven't liked it, I can always delete it. So I'm going to show you what you can do when you edit a video. There's 3 basic things you can do. You can cut pieces out. This has been a godsend to me because I used to record videos from my document camera, and when the phone rang or when somebody walked into my classroom, I had to start all over. I didn't have any really editing skills. I didn't know the special softwares I would need. It seemed really complicated, and I would record videos over and over again trying to get that video right. So if I was interrupted, or if I just had 23 ums that I wanted to cut out, I can listen to the video, and wherever I find that I want to cut out, I just add that cut there, and then I listen again until I get to the spot that I want to finish and cut again. I add another cut there. And then these 2 white lines, I grab one of them and I just pull it to the other one. And basically that collapses that section, so it won't be there anymore. Now, when I play that video, it'll jump right from this part to the next part. So for me, when I'm recording a video and I get interrupted because somebody comes in the room now, I just have that conversation and then I start over again. So now when I'm recording a video, blah, 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 and I can just know that I can cut that piece out. So that's really wonderful. Also, if I find a lesson of somebody else's that I don't like a particular part, I can cut that out. So that's great. A second thing you can do is a voiceover, and that just allows, for me, usually it's because I've made a mistake in the video, and I added wrong, and I said 3 + 2 was 6, like some silly thing like that, and I can choose to voiceover. So I can just take a voiceover, and I can take a certain spot that I thought I made a mistake in, and I can start recording, say, actually 3 + 2 is 5, blah, 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 and I would be able to record that. Then I can stop recording, and it'll allow me to play. I can say the 4 shapes. Oops, that's the one I did before. Sorry, this is the one I just did. Say, actually 3 + 2 is 5. Okay, so you can record over any piece. I'll show you a video that I did that purposefully later. So you can cut out pieces, you can record over pieces. I've seen teachers do this where they find a Khan Academy video that they really like, the visuals are fabulous, but they just want the students to hear their own voice. And so what they'll do is actually record over a section of them explaining that problem instead of the voice on Khan Academy. Takes a little bit of timing, but I found out it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And then the third thing you can do, and what you noticed when you played with that sample lesson, is you can add a question. And so the places that you would naturally in the classroom stop and ask students questions, you can add those in wherever you would like. So there's 2 kinds of questions: multiple choice, open-ended, and then there's also notes. So multiple choice question, if I choose to add that, I might say, what shape is this? And then I can put my choices, and I can say it is a cone, a sphere, or I'm going to add another choice. There's not a limit that I've found yet. I've added a ton of choices. So you can add as many choices as you need, and a cylinder. And then you can choose which one are correct. So cone wasn't actually the correct one for this. cylinder is actually the correct one. If you have 2 answers that are correct, you are allowed to say that. And this is how your student receives feedback. After they answer a multiple choice question, it will tell them if they're right or not. This little feedback thing is going. And so that's a multiple choice question. All the multiple choice questions you add are automatically graded, and that information is reported to you, so you can tell, wow, students really didn't understand this piece. I want to make sure and talk about that tomorrow, or everyone seemed like they were following along pretty well.
Leanne, so there is, sorry to interrupt, there is one question.
Yeah.
When you go into EdPuzzle, the question is, does it take you to your school's videos when you go in?
So when I signed up, let's see, did I finish this? Can I hold that question for just a second? Let me finish this, the last thing that we can do here, and then I'll come back to that. Thanks. So the other kinds of questions, let's see. I'm gonna cancel that. I won't say
top circle. Notice you draw it more like an oval instead of square on like a circle. So you're seeing it at a slant.
I've got.
And you draw the 2 lines vertically down.
I don't know where it is.
And then you connect that with.
Sorry. I have too many things open. So the other kind of question you can add is open-ended. When you add an open-ended question, like what shape is this? That will not be graded. And so you will then receive an opportunity to look at all your students' responses, and you can mark them correct or incorrect. They're a formative assessment that allows you to know what your students know and don't know. So I ask those sparingly, just because most of the time I would like most things to be graded. But there was a spot where I really was planning here for a discussion later in the class.
Some of the things you noticed and wondered?
I wanted them to estimate how many beans, given that this one has 200 beans, how many beans they thought this one would have. I wanted that to be a conversation we had the next time we were together on a Zoom meeting. And so I really wanted them to make their guesses, their estimates, and write reasons so that we would be able to have that discussion from that. So I didn't need to grade all those things, but I did need that information, because then I could take some students' guesses and say that our lowest guess was, 200, our highest guess was 1,000, and I could lead a discussion. So open-ended questions, use sparingly, but there are good uses for them. And finally, the last thing that you can do is a note. I like to put that at the beginning or the end, so I can type and say, play the recording for instructions. And I can add in an image there, a little bitmoji of me or whatever I would like. And I also can record. And I can say, good morning, mathematicians. I'm so excited you're here listening to this video with me, or whatever it is I want to have them say. And then I'd like to play that back for you, but I'm not going to do that right now. Anyway, I save that, then I have that recording for them to be able to try. All right.
So I want you to go ahead.
Oops.
So I want you to go ahead.
There we go. Now I'm going to go back to the question about content. So when I signed up for EdPuzzle, it asked what school you went to, and so I put that I was at Clovis High School. I actually was trying to say I was in Clovis Unified, and so I got that there's 14 teachers in Clovis at Clovis High School that are using EdPuzzle, and a bunch of these are my videos, because I might be the only math teacher that are using them. But I can see that maybe there's some social studies teachers or science teachers that are using them, and I could see some of the videos that some other teachers have used. Right now you're seeing a lot of my videos. There might not be a ton of Clovis High teachers, but if you had teachers together, you would be able to see them. Also, it's really easy to share a video with a colleague. So for instance, this guy, when I want to share it with a colleague and I choose assign, I can choose share this link with a colleague, copy that link and send it to you. Now you'll get that video, and you can, let me just go back. When you open that, you can duplicate it so you can make your own. and be able to assign that to your classes. So it's really easy to share videos between colleagues with EdPuzzle, which is great. Did I answer that question enough, whoever asked that one? Is that good?
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let me see where we are on our agenda, because I kind of lost track. Okay, so I just was going to show you some quick uses. The remake of a previous video was one of my favorite uses. Let's see if I can pull this up again. Yeah. So I'm homesick. I'm dying. I need to make a lesson plan. In our 6, 7, 8 materials, Mr. Morgan, who's at Alta Sierra, has made videos for every day's lesson, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. They're supposed to be reviews for students who maybe were absent to be able to pick up what happened in class. The second half of the video always goes over the homework so kids could check their homework assignment, and they're also available for parents to be able to see. It's amazingly popular. In the last, since we've been on distance learning, his website has had 600,000 views, but the average is about 15,000 views per day for the school year. So it's very, very popular. Everyone who uses this curriculum knows this and uses it really commonly for substitutes. The original video was 21 minutes long, but I didn't want that answer part for my students. So when I made this, the first thing I did was I added a note. Let's see if I can. Hit play to hear your directions for the day. So I added that little note. I'm gonna skip. And
hey, this is Math 8, Unit 8.
Pause for a minute. Any video of mine that I think I've ever made, I've always had some mistake. And one of my biggest problems in using other people's videos is they said something a different way than I want to say it. They explained it in a different format, or maybe they have a mistake, because we're all human and we all make them. I had to hunt for a while before I could finally find a video of Mr. Morgan's that somebody might consider to have a mistake, because I wanted to show how I would fix that for a subplan. So right here, he was about to talk about this, and he treated it like it had a bar over it, which I don't know if you know, it's not really the important thing, but that means it goes on forever with a million threes. And I didn't want it to say that. So I was able to record a little piece over.
C's a great one. You might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not sure. I mean, do I write down 333 over 1,000? I guess you could.
That's exactly what you do,
and here I'm able to
Morgan.
talk right over.
Mr. Morgan's about to fall for a trick here that a lot of students fall for. He assumes that they mean that there's a repeat bar over that decimal. Just because a number repeats several times doesn't mean it repeats forever. And so if it repeated forever, that's true. 0.333 repeating forever is 1/3, and he's showing when you divide that you're going to keep getting threes forever. But without that repeat bar over, then you should just have 333 over 1,000.
And we know that the cube root of 1,000 is 10.
And so you can see just how smooth that is to be able to record right over. And that is one of the things that's always kept me from using other people's videos. But now that I can edit or comment on things, I really, really like that piece. I then also added in a question, because I knew that my students were going to have trouble with this. He said, this one's a real easy one, but I did not think my kids would think it was easy. So I took and I set a set of actually 4 questions here that, see if I can, that continued to ask about that idea. So I was able to just keep going and put in a series of 4 questions just to flesh that out, because I knew my learners were going to need more help than what
For D, I have 111.
I did that one more time.
2.
And at the end,
So
I was able to put a little piece with instructions for the end. And so that made a perfect subplan. It was way easier. You know how sometimes you write those instructions out and you make mistakes and you have to throw them away and you write them again? This was really, really fast for me to be able to make this plan. So I loved it for that. But I also loved it for a creation of a new distance lesson. this one is a whole new lesson. I'm not going to show all of that right now. But on this one, I wanted to upload my own video. And so just for you, if you're wanting to dig in more about this, I needed to first make a video. And to do that, I recorded my video in PowerPoint. I had slides that were already made in my curriculum, and I recorded over with my voice on the slides. So this is a recording, how to PowerPoint, how to record on your slides in PowerPoint. And then once you've done that, you can make it into save it as a video and upload it into EdPuzzle and be able to add all your questions and interactions. I also was able to cut out several ums and things like that. When you listen to this original one, you'll see there's a big gap before I start talking. But then by the time I put it into EdPuzzle, I was able to cut off that big gap of sound because I could edit, which was great. So, so there's some resources for you on that. And all of the how-to videos here were made in Screencastify. So it's another way you could record video to be able to make your lessons. All right, so the next question I wanted to address was, let me just make sure I covered everything on that. Let me just look at my, perfect. Oh, I did want to show you how you assigned the lesson at the end. I think I might have done that, but let's just go. Oh, do it this way. So, yeah, it doesn't want to. Oh well, I'll start from here. So I go to this lesson and nope, it does not want to do it. Sorry, I have too many things open. Let me just find one where I'm in regular EdPuzzle. 1,000 things not there. I'm going to EdPuzzle. So, oh, I know why. So sorry. Let me get rid of that. Here we go. On the other one, I'm not in my own account, so that's why I couldn't do that. I have a. All right. So if I wanted to assign one of these as an assignment, like this guy. Just kidding. That one is, yeah. I can choose to assign it right here. I have a start date. I'm going to choose an end date. I could choose a start date later, but I'm going to choose that end date and save. I can pick what time. I don't want my kids up till midnight, so I'm going to choose that it has to be done by 8 p.m. and save that. I choose my class. The best thing you can do, if you have a Google Classroom, you can actually connect your Google Classes. I'll show that in just a little bit. Well, actually, I can show it now. I can import a class from my Google Classroom. I don't have a class because I am not, oops, I just lost it. So sorry, too many clicks. I don't have a class, so I make a class where when I assign it, and I set the due date and everything, I can assign that. And then I just have to share the assignment. So if I'm in the classroom, I can choose Go Live, and it will project a code for the students to be able to type in. Or when I'm at a distance, oops, sorry. When I'm at a distance, I can do share assignment, and I can copy this link, or I can choose to embed this into my web page. So with that link copied, I could go put that into my Google Classroom. I could email it to my students. And I think when you copy it, yeah, it says copied so that I know I have it. And I could just paste that in. Those links are should all be the links that are on the document that you have, the agenda. So that's how you assign it. Once they're assigned, the question is, how can you see your students' progress? And so let me just show you a little bit. Yeah, I'll show you a little bit from a teacher who has a Google Classroom. So she teaches 7th grade, she'd assigned a couple assignments to her Google class. This is in the middle of, they were just about due, and she had 42 of 81 kids at distance learning that had done those. She had a lot of free response questions she had asked. So she had 344 new answers to grade, which I thought was really intimidating. It turns out that what they do is group all the questions. So if number 1, the answer is cylinder, I'm going to see everybody's number 1. So cylinder, yes, 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 no, yes, no, yes. It's pretty quick, but still, that was an awful lot of questions that she had to grade. You can see a spreadsheet of how your kids have done. So you're allowed to sort by student name, by the % watched, by the grade they got, by who watched last, which is kind of nice if you've put a lot of it into your grade book and you want to just see the last 2 or 3 people that you hadn't put in, you can do that. And so in this case, she's sorted by grade, so you'll see the people who got perfect scores first, and then some people who missed. Which you can see, it'll also show you how much time somebody has spent watching. These kids had watched most of it, but some of the time it'll show less. I'll show you that in just a minute. If you click on any one student's name, you can see this report for this one student. This student had watched 90% of the video. They had correctly responded to 4 of the 8 questions, and they'd spent 4 minutes watching it. You can see what time they watched it. And this little bar right here shows that they watched each one of these segments 1 time. Like there was a question there, they watched each 1 time. Anytime you put rewatch, then that would say a 2. They watched it twice, or 3 if they watched it more than that. I can see which questions they got right because these are marked green, and I can see the other ones they didn't get right, or maybe they're not graded yet. So that's the information I can get from that. Showing you my EdPuzzle. When I go to Gradebook, I don't see anything because I have not uploaded classes from Google Classroom, but I have created classes by links. So I have this one that's called Mrs. Branham's Sample Class. And when I choose to look at, actually, let's go back, a bigger class. When I choose to look at this class, I chose to display students' names as code names. So that's why you get these lovely snazzy mango and gold lizard as names. You could choose to have them be your actual students' names. I made a sample lesson and I just put it on my Facebook math teacher group, and I said, hey, can anybody do this? I need to see what the results look like. You can see that a lot of people, I made it no skipping. A lot of people were very unenthused about that no skipping thing. So they started when they realized they couldn't skip. They did not keep going very far, right? So I don't have too many things. But if I wanted to sort by how much watched, I can see somebody, Friendly Persimmon, went all the way through. Cyan Lizard went most of the way through. And after a while, it tapers off. And I can see those things. It says there's 20 answers to grade. Yes?
There's one question. Speaking of names and videos. They were asking, if you create a video and you upload it to EdPuzzle, does it always share your name? Or can you have them unlisted? Can you have it private? Is it always a public video?
You know what? It's been a while since I uploaded one, and I can't remember. It seems like there was a thing I checked about that, but I cannot remember that now. Sherry, do you remember that? I would need to look that back up.
You know, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think if you share it publicly, your name is on there. But if I remember correctly, there are options where you can leave your videos unlisted and just use them yourself.
So in just a little bit, I'll show you where you can go find more information. Again, like I've known how to use this a total of almost 2 weeks. So it's been pretty easy to find the information when I want to find it. So I'll show you that. So I want to show you now how easy it is to grade. So I had 20 answers to grade on this. And it says, can you guess which shape does not have a base? And so the sphere or the ball is the one that's gonna be right. So the ball, yep, that has no base. A sphere, yep, that has no base. Notice as I click one, it goes away. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna put no. If I was really concerned, I might type a comment. Can you explain your answer more? Or something like that. That's correct. And so I can just go through and the questions sorted. So now that I know this, I want it to be both congruent and parallel. So neither one of these were exactly right, and I might give them feedback, type back to them. So anyway, that's how the grading goes. When you finish looking at the multiple choice that need to be graded, you can see all the graded answers. So this one where they chose volume, all these people got that right. It shows me which answers were wrong and which answers were right. And so if I knew I was going to talk about a certain question tomorrow, I might want to look at which questions were they getting wrong? What was the problem on that question? And so this gives me a really nice way to look through that to plan for class discussion. Okay, let's see. So when you're creating your own EdPuzzle, we talked a little bit about some video options you have for recording. Several teachers have been using Zoom to record if they have something that they're showing on their screen. And then if you're trying to learn a little bit more about EdPuzzle, when you are, actually, let me just show it to you from here. Let me get out of this part because I want to show you how to get there instead of just that link. So I'm going to click that EdPuzzle link. I kept trying to search for help, like how do I grade or things like that. When you search here, you're searching videos. So I could search a thing like fractions or adding fractions or something like that there. It searches for videos. It searches for them in all these places. So if I need help, then what I found was when I looked over here at my account, I found the Help Center. And so that was really, really handy. And the Help Center has all kinds of tips about getting started, creating video lessons, assigning them, managing your students and content, some account settings, some troubleshooting. Really, really nice. Almost everything I've learned by watching one of these little videos or reading. Sometimes they're not videos, sometimes they're just reading. So for instance, that one's just reading, right? So I want to encourage you that as you get started, just do it. It's so simple. And then as you get started, you can look for help right there under Help Center to be able to get more help. Okay. Any other questions, Sherry, that are hanging out there?
No, no questions at this time.
Okay. I think, and we talked about the monitoring and grading. Oh, this was just from that Help Center, there was a really nice piece about help with the grading. There is a place to reset an assignment for a student. So I can imagine this in my middle school classroom or my 10th grade classroom where a student was just clicking through answers right and left. They weren't paying any attention at all. And everyone else is on, you know, the first 30 seconds of the video and they're done with all 15 minutes. I could reset the assignment for that student, say, hey, no, you actually need to go through and listen to that. So that's a possible thing you can do. So there's a lot of different things about progress reports, checking the student's progress, downloading grades, organizing your assignments that you can see here in that help area. So I just want to encourage you to be using that resource because those resources were really helpful for me. Okay, I think that is everything I had to share with you. If there's no more questions, I think we are, that's all there was.
Oh, going into PowerPoint, could you show them where to go to do that recording?
I sure could. So let me just pull that up. PowerPoint is something you have on your computer. Everybody has access to that. And if you made a couple slides, and so I'm gonna, hi, and then I'm gonna add a new slide, bye, right? And I wanted to record video on using the PowerPoint. There's some, let's see if I can pull this down because the controls for Zoom are right in the way of the controls for the PowerPoint. So there's two different ways you can record onto these, but I find the easiest way, well, I'll show you them both. You can insert audio. You can insert audio where you are just going to record on this one slide, and that will work great. What happened to me was sometimes I would continue to talk, and I find that it was a little easier to just go ahead and record. You're allowed to record video or audio. I like recording the whole slideshow, starting from the beginning, which was the current slide, because it allows me to catch the clicks that would happen. Like if there was an animation, it'll record those clicks. So as the student watches it back, they'll see the first piece show up and then the second piece, like that. And you just hit record, and it gives you a little warning. Hi, welcome to this PowerPoint, and really all I have to say is hi here. And then if I go on to the next slide, bye, da, 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 and I'm done. Normally, if I wasn't in the middle of the Zoom, it would have given the option to have my little picture right here. Because my camera is also already being used for Zoom, it doesn't want to allow me to do both of those things at the same time. But normally you have the option, you can leave it on or off. I have found that when I'm going to upload a PowerPoint with my little picture in, it's a lot slower in uploading because there's all that video content as well. Okay, so, but I think for your students, it's really nice for them to be able to see your face. And now I want to exit this part, so I'm going to hit escape. And now I can play this. Let's see. Hi, welcome to this PowerPoint, and really all I have to say is hi. That's it. And so they'll be able to hear that, and as you move from screen to screen, you'll see that. Now I can see that I have this little recording right here. And then on the next one, I can see I have that recording right there. My face might be there as well if I recorded with the video, and you can move that around. You can just grab it and oh, there you go. You can grab that and move it to a different place. If you're coordinated, you can grab that and move it to a different place on the screen. Once you've done that, you can export to video. So you can make this whole thing into a video, and it'll just take a little bit to save it as a video. So then it's not a PowerPoint anymore. It's a video. Well, it'll be a PowerPoint and it'll be a video. And then that video is something you can upload and share with your students. Okay. I haven't used this publish to stream yet. I do think it's a Microsoft tool. And so I haven't used that, but I've exported to video. And that's
yes,
really well.
Yeah, the Stream is a Microsoft product, and Stream, it's a place that houses the videos that you create. Only people in our domain can access those. So anything outside that domain, they won't be able to view it.
Got it. Got it. So where if I export to video right now, I believe it's just saved onto my computer, and then I would upload it to wherever I wanted it to be. So is that good? Did that answer that PowerPoint question?
Yes, I believe so, unless anybody has any other questions. There's also a screencasting option in there under the screen recording too. So if you choose not to use Screencastify or Loom or other items too, yeah, you can also click on screen recording there. And then it gives you the option to pick your
select
screen.
an area.
Yep,
so
select
maybe
an area
I want to show this part, right?
Yeah, and then
that would be the place I'm making the video of.
Yep, you click on record, you do your recording, it'll take that and it'll put it onto the slide for you.
Lovely. I love it when I'm learning new stuff. I didn't know that one. That's really great.
And then once you start, yeah, and it's free and it's unlimited. You can do, you can say as much as you want. So let's say you had a whiteboard application that was open, you could screencast straight from that whiteboard application. Then once you stop recording, it sticks it on the slide. And then to save that video, just that video, maybe not all the PowerPoint slides, you can right click and then save it as a video.
Lovely. That's great. Thank you so much for showing me that.
My pleasure.
Yeah. all this new tech, I don't know about the rest of you, but all this new tech has just been an adventure for me. I'm having fun learning it, but everything's far from perfect right now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Good down say. Okay. So great. Well, thank you so much.
So real quick, do you mind if I share my screen? So I just want to explain to
people.
Please feel free
while
just in case by some fluke you don't have that recording option in your ribbon at the very top. Let me show you how to get there. Can everybody see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to come over to File, if it wants to click. You're going to come all the way down at the bottom to Options. Can you see my little circle down there? Options.
Oh, good.
Okay. Then you're going to come to Customize Ribbon. And over here is what you can and can't see on your ribbon. You may have this recording option not shown because it's not checked. So if you just check there and then click OK, it will pop that recording option onto your ribbon at the top. And then you have those items that Leanne was showing you.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Just in case. Because some PowerPoints have that and some don't. And it's so odd, but that's how you fix it.
Perfect.
I really liked, again, I had no real tech ability at all, and I could never edit any of my videos. And so EdPuzzle and Screencastify and PowerPoint videoing have all been just really fabulous to me for those reasons.
Thank you, Leanne.
Hey, thank you.
Anybody else have questions? Now's your chance.
No, thank you, though. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Love that.
No problem. Thank you.